Hey people, what's going on? Yep, I'm back with another tutorial of from the challenges, and in this video, I'm gonna be continue from the previous challenges. From I think the last one we did was challenge 18. Now we're gonna be no challenge 17. Now we're gonna be going continuing from challenge 18. So without further ado, let's get started. So ECMAScript 6, which is ES6, write concise object literal declaration using simple fields. Right, so ES6 adds some nice support for easily defining object literals. Consider the following code. You have as a const, and then get mouse position. It gives in the anonymous function with two parameters, x and y, and then assigns the property of x to x and property of y to y. So it also describes the code, which is get mouse position in a simple function. Sorry, my bad. Get mouse position. It is a simple function that returns an object containing two fields. Right, so these are fields, right? ES6 from syntactic sugar to eliminate. Sorry. ES6 provides the syntactic sugar to eliminate the redundancy of having to write x:x. You can simply write x once and it will be converted to x, right, :x, or something equivalent under the hood. Here's the same function from above rewritten to use this new syntax. Right, so this is, remember, object literal declaration, right? So here we have the same function with two parameters, but here we have used brackets and curly brackets instead of uh, giving the x the value of x and y the value of y. We are instead passing in x and comma y, which is the object's literal declaration. Alright, cool. So now what does it say? That use simple fields with object literals to create and return a person objects. So we need to return a person object using this syntax here, right? Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is take the object literals and get rid of this code. Alright, this, oh sorry, my bad. Return, yep, return name, age, and gender. Alright, so all can go in one line. So that should do the trick. Let's run the test. Yes, that did it. Power up. Yes, we are powering up. Full 100% charged mode. Continue to the next challenge. Alright. Oops. Okay. Write concise declarative functions with ES6. Alright, so now we're going to be writing concise declarative functions. When defining functions within objects in ES5, we have to use a keyword function as follows, right? So that's the object's person is property, and say hello, which is a function here, right? So now with ES6 you can remove the function keyword and a colon, yep, altogether when defining functions in objects. Alright, so in, instead of writing it in this way, we can write that in this way. So say hello, and then open brackets, close brackets, and then the function parentheses. Alright, and then so now it says so you must be thinking now, what is this? So this keyword in this particular scope is just covering the person's object. So depending where this keyword is used, it has a different scope. If it was declared outside this bracket, this parenthesis, then it will have a global scope, but it's declared inside the person's object, so it's called the person object scope only. Alright, so now it says that refactor the function setGear, which is this one, setGear, inside the object bicycle, to use the shorthand syntax described above. Alright, so now in ES6 we remove the colon and the function keyword. There we go. That's our new function for setGear, right, which is concise declarative functions with ES6. Perfect. Now let's run the test and see if we have passed it or not. Right, and yes, we are passed. Yay! You've got the charge. Oh yes, we are prepared and ready for every single one of them. Smash them out. Submit, and let's go to the next challenge. So now this is about using class syntax to define a constructor function. Right. So ES6 provides a new syntax to help create objects using the keyword class. ES6 provides a new syntax to help create the objects using the keyword class. Okay, this is to be noted that the class syntax is just a syntax and not a full-fledged class-based implementation of object-oriented paradigm, unlike in languages like Java, Python, or Ruby. In ES5, we usually define a constructor function and use the new keyword to instantiate an object. Yep, true. Completely agreed. So this is the ES5 way to do it. So it's declaring a space shuttle and then using a function target planet, and then it's using this the target planet and assigning it to the target planet. So var and then Suez is creating, it's creating a new space shuttle and it's turning it to Suez. So now the class syntax simply replaces the constructor function creation. Right. So instead of this, I mean this one, we use, oh sorry, uh in, instead of a var space shuttle, we give it a class keyword because it is a constructor, right? And then const do it. So this is the code in ES6. Two differences: it doesn't should use var to create the constructor. However, in ES6 it uses class, and then in ES6 it uses const to create the variable. All right, cool. So notice that a class keyword declares a new function, which is this one. Yep, class keyword is this one. Declares a new function and a constructor was added. Yep, new function and then the constructor was added, which would be invoked when a new is called to create the object, which is this one. Alright, so now it says use the class keyword and write a proper constructor to create the vegetable class. Okay, so create the constructor, use a class keyword, and write the proper constructor to create the vegetable class. Make class, yeah, give it there, and new vegetable, yeah, cool. So now this will be like, right, so first of all we need to declare the object vegetable, so class vegetable, and then we need to open curly braces and close curly braces, and then we need to create a constructor. So say choose class keyword and write a proper constructor to create the vegetable class. So we have done this with a define constructor method. So we have done this one. Class keyword was used. Alright. Run the test. Yep. Vegetable can be instantiated, and vegetable should be a class with a defined constructor method. Now we need to get the define a constructor, and then pass it a name. So the vegetable class, the vegetable lets you create a vegetable object, yep, with a property name to be passed to the constructor. Property name, and that has to be passed to the constructor, which is here. So name, and then what we're going to do is output the constructor, output the name. So this dot name equals name. Perfect. There we go. And that should be it really. Let's test our code. Yay, right like a wind, we are flying. Now let's get to the next challenge. Use use getters and setters to control access to an object. Alright, so it says that you can obtain values from an object and set a value of a property within an object. Okay, so obtain values from an object and set a value of a property within an object. These are classically called getters and setters. Alright, so getters functions are meant to simply return get the value of an object's private variable to the user without the user directly accessing the private variable. Okay, cool. So getter functions are meant to simply return the value, which is get the value of an object's private variable to the user without the user directly accessing the private variable. Setter functions are meant to modify or set the value of an object's private variable based on the value passed into the setter function. This change could involve calculations or even overwriting the previous value completely. So this is the code. It creates an object, okay, and then creates an constructor, passes in the author. This says the author, and then this is the getter, so in get writer, okay, and which is a function obviously, get writer, and then gets the author, and then setter set writer updated author and sets the value here. Right, sweet. So const lol gets, it assigns a new book object of the anonymous to lol, and then logs out the writer, which is this one here. Alright, and then which is anonymous obviously, and then it sets the writer to a new value which is wood, and then logs out the updated value of the writer, which in this case will be wood. Okay, understood. So now it says notice the syntax we are using to invoke the getter and the setter as if they are not even functions. Yep. Cool. Getters and setters are important because they hide internal implementation details. Right. This part here is an important part, so you don't really have to go deep into the implementation to get the details of a particular variable or a property. You can simply access them or update them from by implementing getters and setters. So now the exercise is to create a thermostat class. Okay, first of all we need to create a thermostat class. set thermostat class. Okay, and now the constructor accepts Fahrenheit temperature. So now we need to get the constructor accepts the Fahrenheit temperature. Okay, passing that temperature, and then now create the set getter and setter in the class to obtain the temperature in Celsius. Right. So now it tells us to create the getters in this way. So this is going to be our getter. Let's leave other comments for now. Yeah, I would say temperature. Okay, curly braces, and then oops, what did I do here? Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. I had to set this up as well. So this one underscore Fahrenheit is equal to Fahrenheit. Okay, and now we can, that's a constructed done in. Now we need to implement the getters and setters. So this is our getter and this will be our setter. Right. So now get temperature, and then we're simply returning return this underscore temperature. Sorry. Get Fahrenheit. Now get temperature. Yep. This dot Fahrenheit. Okay. Returning this. Okay, so we need to set the setter now. So the new value, which is set the temperature, and then give it an updated save temperature in Celsius. So temp in Celsius. Alright, here we go. And now we need to calculate the Fahrenheit into Celsius. How are we going to do that? By this calculation. So we're going to do temperature in Celsius equals this formula. So we use this one here, and then instead of F we need to use this property here. Alright, this dot underscore dot Fahrenheit. So this dot Fahrenheit. Okay, and then we need to what do we have to do then? Yes, so now we need to do this dot I would say, how is this? So this Fahrenheit is equal to temperature in Celsius. Alright. to create another object. Okay, so what I've done here, let me just repeat it again. Now I've created an object thermostat, alright, and then given that a constructor which takes in a temperature in Fahrenheit. Actually, let me just generalize the variable. Okay, so it takes in the temperature, Fahrenheit temperature, and then it returns the temperature. Yep. Yep. And then it gives us Fahrenheit, and then it sets the temperature. Yep. Let me just see if it's passing the test, and then I will explain the code to you. Alright, no, it's not passing. Oops, my bad. I did a mistake here. I shouldn't have done this, so yeah, now it should work. Alright, yes, okay. Now I'll explain the code. So created an objective with a constructor that takes in the temperature, and then it's the value that's passed here is the Fahrenheit 1 to the temperature. Okay, so this value is passed here, and then the getter gets the value, as in reads the value from the variable, and then it sets the value in Celsius. Okay, and you're probably being a bit confused there, so I'm gonna do this as an updated temperature. It's easier for you guys to keep a track of it. Alright, yeah, cool. So it says the temperatures. So if the user gives in a temperature in Fahrenheit, then it will convert it into this Celsius. Alright, and this is how it does it. It assigns the calculated value to the updated temperature, and then it assigns the calculated value, which is the updated temperature, to this to our Fahrenheit property, and then returns the entire object. Alright, which is the thermostat. Alright, cool. Let's move on to the next one. So understand the difference between import and require. Okay, so in the past, the function require would be used to import the functions and the code in external files and folder, right? While handy, this presents a problem. Some files and modules are rather large, and you may only need certain code from those external resources. All right. So ensure requires imports the entire files. However, we need something to get a particular block or a particular property or a particular feature from the external file, not the whole file. Okay, so require yes, the imports the function and the code in external files and folders. Right, files and folders, so it doesn't filter at all. So ES6 gives us a very handy tool known as import. With it, we can choose which part of a module or file to load into a given file, saving time and memory. So it's essentially require it doesn't filter from the files what we need and what we don't need. Import it filters and gives us the only thing we need from a particular file, which in turn saves work, saves time and memory as well. Consider a following example. Imagine that math array function has 20 functions, but I only need one count items in my current file. The old require approach would force me to bring in all 20 functions. With this new import syntax, I can bring in just the desired function like so. Right, import count items from math array. Yeah, this is really handy, isn't it? Right, so a description of the above code. So import function from file path goes here. We can also import variables in the same way. There are few ways to write an import statement, but the above is a very common use case. Now, the white spaces surrounding the function inside the curly braces is the best practice. It makes it easier to read and import statements. Note: the lessons in this section handle non-browser features. Okay, import and the statements we introduce in the rest of these lessons won't work on a browser directly. However, we can use various tools to create code of this to make it work in the browser. In most cases, the file path requires a dot and / before it, otherwise Node will look in the Node modules directory first trying to load it as a dependency. Okay, add the appropriate import statements that will allow the current file to use capitalized string function. The file where this function lives is called string function, and it is in the same directory as the current function. Right. Alright, so it says that add the appropriate import statement. So import and then curly braces. Alright. And it says allow the current file to use capitalized string function. So that's the function we want to use. You can just copy and paste it here. And then from the file, this is the file name, so we can just from and then string underscore functions string functions. Alright, so this should work. Alright, run the test, And yay, Bodacious. Oh yeah. Go, go, go to the next challenge, next challenge, next challenge. Alright. Choose export to reuse a code block. Use export to reuse a code block. So in the previous challenge, you learned about import and how it can be leveraged to import small amounts of code from large files. Okay. In order for this to work, though, we must utilize one of the statements and one of the statements that goes with import. Yep, cool. So known as export. Okay. When we want to when we want some code, a function or variable to be usable in other file, we must export it. We must export it in order to import it into another file, like import, export in the non-browser feature. Alright. I didn't understand this. So in the previous challenge, you learned about import and how it can be leveraged to import small amounts of code from large files. In order for this to work, though, we must utilize the statement that goes with import, known as export. Alright, so import and export should be together. I'm presuming when we want some code or function or variable to be usable in another file, we must export it in order to import it first. Okay, so export it first and then import it into another file, like import, export in a non-browser feature. The following is what we refer to as named export. Alright, with this we can import any code which exports into another file with the import syntax you learned in the last lesson. So here's an example. It says declare the variable cost capitalized string, you pass in a function parameter and then returns string call adds 0 to uppercase, which is ns, and string dot slice 1. So export, how to export function, and export const foo, how to export variables. Alternatively, if you would like to compact your export statements in one line, you can take this approach. Alright, cool. So instead of exporting one by one here, is done in one line. So export, capitalization, and then foo. Either approach is perfectly acceptable. Right? Below are two variables that I want to make available for other files to use. Utilizing the first way I demonstrated, export the two variables. Okay, so now I need to export it. Alright, so we would do export and then space foo, that's done, and export, and then bar. Right, that's done. I hope that's the way foo is exported, by is exported. Below are the two variables, foo is exported. Oh, no. What did I miss here? Oh, sorry. No semicolons, I guess. Foo is exported and by is exported. No. Oh, I get the idea. And then it needs to be exported first in order to be used. Yeah, okay. Now it should pass. Where is exported? No. Capitalization. Ah, sorry guys. I did a bit of a mistake here. These are variables, so they have to be exported in a certain time, which is we need to mention the keyword const before the opening and curly braces. So now this should work. See, like this. Oh no. No, my bad again. That should have been that way. I can just do export and then oops, export. Alright, for the variables. Okay, so now let's run the test. Yes, we passed it. Yay! Alright guys, this is it for today's videos. Today's video. If you have any questions or suggestions, or you don't understand a particular challenge in this video, do let me know. As soon as I see your comments, I will let you guys know and explain it as well in a separate video. Okay, so until next video, have fun coding and go and keep pushing your boundaries. All right, have fun. That's the most important part. See you in the next video, guys.